All right, ladies and gentlemen, happy Saturday to those of you who are, I think it's Saturday in every part of the world right now, but how's everybody doing? So this is our weekly live stream where I like to answer questions, maybe provide some direction on things where unfortunately I can't answer everyone's questions that I get Facebook messages and emails from all the time, but this is another opportunity for such a new thing that we're doing is we're going to start off by having a topic of discussion, and today's is going to be mentoring. And the importance of mentors, specifically negative mentors, which I think are something that people don't necessarily have a lot of in their life or at all. And if my eyes look a little, if my pupils look a little big, it's not because your boy is on some good drugs or anything like that. I actually just got my eyes dilated to get a new prescription and all that sort of stuff. So your boy ain't out. Your boy too much caffeine today. No. So one thing I want to talk about specifically is negative mentors. And if you have a better name for this, please let me know. But I think negative mentors is what I am currently calling them. The reason that I'm bringing this up is recently I did a video called the top 5 ways to make sure you don't learn to code. And a subscriber of mine said unsubscribe. And then I said something like too real for you, LOL. And then he said that he just can't stand how arrogant and what a superiority complex I have. And I thought about it, and I decided that I don't think that is something that I'm exuding in my mannerisms and in my videos. Partly because I have had these things that I refer to as negative mentors, where I go out of my way to make sure that I'm not like this. And in his case, I don't know if maybe I hit a little too close to home, or oftentimes people are looking. People like to what they see about themselves sometimes see in others, so they don't feel as alone or rejected. And who really knows, right? This is 2 messages back and forth with a subscriber on the internet. But I thought it did remind me that we should talk about negative mentors. So one of the reasons that I personally responded back, and I said something along the lines of, I'm sorry to hear that. I always do my best to be respectful and stay humble. And part of that is because I've had these mentors, whether they realize it or not, of what not to become. A while back, I talked about how the first time I ever met a subscriber, there was this super senior dev who decided that it was appropriate to shit on me when the subscribers think, hey man, I love your free code camp videos, this and that. And he looked me up on LinkedIn and was like, I didn't realize a delivery driver could deliver. I didn't realize a pizza delivery driver could make coding tutorials or something like that. And ever since then, he has been what I refer to as a negative mentor, as somebody who I look at and I reference. I say, you know what? Whatever happens, I don't know what type of man I want to be. I know what type of man I don't want to be, and I find that quite as refreshing as knowing what goal to go towards. And so I've used him and many other people in various aspects of life, these negative mentors, and knowing what not to do and what not to become is just as important as knowing what to do and what to become. Oftentimes they'll help you lead down the same path, right? And so he is a great example, in my opinion, of somebody who I don't want to become like, and that is why he has become a negative mentor. And this is years ago. But there's other people and other things that I reference. You could talk about finances and people in my personal life who I look up to, or who are, I love very dearly, but have made very, very bad financial choices. And I reference some of what they do, maxing out credit cards and all these sorts of things that I look at people who have done it right, and I look at people who have done it wrong. So I want to encourage you that not only to have those positive mentors that you can look up to, but you have those negative mentors in your life who you reference and say, look, why are they doing it wrong? And what is it getting them? And how can I make sure I don't end up like them, man? So I encourage you to find those negative mentors in your life, as well as positive mentors, right? So John Sonmez released a video today. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but it said, "Hey, I don't want to be your hero," or something like that. And I personally don't look up to John Sonmez as like a hero, but I do look up to him as an educated individual who has made a good choice in how to be financially well off, how to have a good career. And so I look to pick things from his videos and from him that I think are going to be helpful. And in the same way, I look to look at the negative aspects and say, how can I take the things that they're doing wrong and make sure I don't implement them into my life? So when you are choosing the mentors, I want you to sort of try and find those people that you just don't want to become, as well as people that you do want to become. Because I know for me, I see people, and this could go for not only like what type of man or woman you want to be, but also your finances, right? When I go into a grocery store and I see somebody who's making minimum wage that is over the age of 60, that to me is a negative mentor. And that's not to pick fun or anything like that, but that is a perfect example of where I don't want to be in life. I understand everyone, for all who knows what those people went through, but I personally want to make sure that that is not where I am at life at the age of 60, right? When I should be having grandchildren and probably getting married the first time. But and it's this fine line, right? Because I don't want anybody to think I'm disrespecting them, but I do. I mean, it is completely okay to have people you say, look, I don't want to be anything like that person. And, maybe that person doesn't have anything wrong with their life, and that's fine. But there are people and situations in life where I want to make sure that I don't do that. Like, you ever seen a crackhead on the street? Just a crackhead on the street. And you say, you know what? Just seeing this crackhead has convinced me that I'm going to stay away from crack. It's kind of the same thing, right? Just seeing those people who are living paycheck to paycheck and maxing out credit cards told me that in life that I don't need to max out my credit card to find out that it's a bad idea. So I would encourage you to try and find those negative mentors in your life. Who was the money mentor you're speaking of? Not necessarily a money mentor, but someone who has done very well for himself is John Sonmez, or Simple Programmer. Sort of just trying to pick bits and pieces of how he has gone from a successful developer to sort of a businessman, and invested in real estate. I actually have to watch his 25-minute video about buying real estate. So anyhow, let me actually pop out the chat here. But that's my little spiel about positive and negative mentors. Something that a lot of people don't ever talk about. We always talk about the people we look up to, right? The people that we want to become, the people that, but just as much, you have to be aware of what you don't want to become, right? And it's oftentimes ignored. Which would be better to learn from, a failed business owner or a profitable growing business owner? Oftentimes what you'll find out, David Yang, is that so I would say the profitable / growing business owner, I'll tell you why, is oftentimes you'll find out that the profitable business owner has failed several times and has learned from his failures, right? So you're just kind of getting that failed business owner after they've learned from their mistakes. And also on a side note, if you guys ever do think I'm becoming arrogant or I'm having a superiority complex, you're always welcome to tell me in the comments below. I don't think that's the case, but maybe that's just because I'm so arrogant. I don't know. Who really knows, right? So Happy Saturday to everybody. This is our we do these every Saturday. I kind of look forward to them. I have a little bit of a headache from the dilation, but I can tell you. So I was talking to April about this yesterday. We went and saw Thor, by the way. Excellent movie. I couldn't recommend it more. How is my cryptocurrency investing going? It's all right. I've kind of I invested about $4,500, and I've just kind of let it sit there, and now it's worth 10,000. So it's right now I've been investing in stocks, and I was reinvesting in peer-to-peer lending, but my peer-to-peer lending went from returning 7% to like 3.7%. So I don't know if everyone defaulted recently because the holidays are coming up, but I've halted that. I'm not reinvesting. Yes, Bit Petite did fold. So yeah, I'm just holding. I do have a little bit of money in BitConnect and Coinreum and stuff like that. But since Bit Petite folded, I'm not going to recommend anymore. I know if you're interested in the BitConnect, Engineered Truth just released a video. He's balls deep in it. He has 46,000 plus into BitConnect. So if that's something you're interested in, you can definitely check out his current video. Yeah, right now, so I'm reinvesting in my stocks right now. So when I originally got that 4,500, I cashed out my stocks that I had purchased, and now I am trying to re-up my stock aspect and go from there. So, but yeah, I don't know. Something I kind of want to learn to day trade stocks and cryptocurrencies, but I don't know. Yeah, BitConnects. I have about $300 in BitConnect. Nothing crazy. I never throw any crazy amounts of money into these things because they only last so long. This is the cryptocurrency, like staking and all that. This is the Wild West, man. All these coins are the Wild West. So like, there's really no accountability. But that's also why you can get such high returns. But yeah, I don't really want to talk about it too much. I feel kind of bad. But yeah. So what's going on with you guys is in your life? What is mutual fund by Vanguard? Yeah, right. So right now, I'm kind of at a interesting place in my life where I want to buy a house, but I don't like debt. So I'm kind of it's kind of hard to pull a trigger on that. And then there's I just started a new job, and although I don't think my job's going to go anywhere, you never really know. And I would basically be clearing out my assets for a down payment on a house. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I find myself lately not as happy as I was a month ago, and I don't know why. I don't know if you guys are very emotionally aware of what's going on with you as a person, but there's some sort of repetitiveness in my life that that I need to change. I'm not unhappy. I'm just not as happy as I was. So in terms of property, everything I've been looking at is either a duplex or a single family home with a back house. The reason for that is these are all rental properties. I'm going to live in one because I have to for the loan but eventually I will just rent them both out. But I will be renting one unit out as I rent out the other ones. But that's basically what I'm going to do. Am I looking to settle down in Florida? I would imagine that I'll be in Florida for several more years, and I'm looking to buy some investment properties. That's really it. Just stuff that I could rent out. That's why I'm looking at duplexes and things like that. Stuff that would cover the mortgage and then so. Right. But yeah, so I'm in this weird place in life where I've kind of hit the groove. I've hit my groove, right? I have a like sort of a every day is kind of similar. I love my job. Very happy in my relationship. Money's the best it's ever been. I'm pretty much healthy. I have 3 wonderful cats. You know, but there's something missing, and I can't quite figure out what it is. And so I find myself not unhappy, but not content with something. And so I've been kind of going on this sort of mental soul searching where I'm trying to figure out what it is that I'm missing. So I'm trying to, sounds like you need a kid. That sounds like an awful idea. I'm trying to switch things up. Like last weekend, for those of you who don't know, I used to play a lot of poker. So what's your job income, if not secret? Well, I don't mind saying, but I don't think the company would appreciate that. I would say that I'm compensated decently well. Yeah, so I recently started building a course, just a little project, but even then I feel kind of weird charging for just a project, so I'll probably end up releasing it for free. But I'm trying to do some soul searching on a very light level of just sort of reflecting. YouTube's going very well, and this is the thing that I find very scary about this is my life has never been better. From a very objective standpoint, I've never been happier, and it has never been better. But there's something that I'm not fully enjoying, and so I have this sort of sadness. Sadness is the wrong word. So I want you guys. It's going to come off this whole conversation. I think it's going to come off like I'm depressed, and that's not the case at all. I'm actually very happy, but not as happy as I've been as recently as a month or two ago. And so I don't know what it is. And it sounds like you need a non-coding related hobby. That could very well be it. I mean, I did start playing poker and I had a good time because I won money last weekend. I also play video games, but I'm not, that hasn't really been doing it for me. I feel like I'm wasting time every time I sit down and play video games for longer than like 25, 30 minutes. No, I'm very happy with my work and new coworkers. It's probably the best place I've ever worked at. Due to seasons changing, perhaps, I don't know. But it very well could be that I need a non-coding related hobby. It could just be that I need to switch something up. So, I'm going to start trying to go to a few more meetups. I'm going to go from there. What's your opinion on Coursera's specializations? Are they worth paying for? I haven't actually checked them out. I could tell you that the Udacity Nano degree program is very well. I'm starting to think that most YouTubers are egomaniacs. Is me talking about my problems an ego make me have an ego, or is it just sort of trying to say, hey, it's okay to talk about these things? But yeah, I mean, if you guys, I need to take Zumba classes. That very well could be it. So that's another thing that I'm trying to do is actually exercise more. I don't know if perhaps I maybe that would help me feel a little bit different. But I do think it stems from some sort of, I don't know, just sort of the same old, same old. So it's very strange too, because there's something missing. More than that, there's something wrong. So I find myself trying to just figure it out piece by piece. Yeah. No, each year I'm done. I'm done with that stuff. But yeah, so I find myself looking inward by trying to change things up, and I don't know. Like, you know what it might be? I've spent so much time trying to be a developer and like working hard, and it's like I feel like we've arrived on that aspect of life. Maybe I just need a vacation. Have you had to learn cybersecurity at your jobs? I have not. That's also so that's also something I find hard to, that might be it as well. Do you get plenty of natural sunlight? I don't think so. I was talking about this yesterday with some coworkers about how I find it hard to relate to people who aren't software developers. And what I mean by that is like, where like everything I'm interested in is very technology, internet, or software related. And it's one of those things where just like talking with the average person, you can tell they don't get it and they don't care, and they want to talk to you about Dancing with the Stars, which I could give two shits about, right? Or they want to talk to you about some new TV show. And it's just hard, man. It's hard to, and this goes even to family members, right? My family was texting me about, I guess, the World Series that was happening, and they're from LA, and from the text, it sounds like the Dodgers were in it. And it was just like, I don't want to hear anything about this. Baseball fucking sucks. It's boring as shit, and it's a waste of time to watch, right? I just don't need to be in this group chat. And like, we were joking about it, but that's the truth, right? And so like, you could go and say, hey, if I were to talk to if I was to talk to my father or my mother about, like, say I gave a TED talk, which would be really impressive in my opinion, and I think a lot of you would agree, right? Say I was asked to give a TED talk and I gave one. They would say, "Who is Ted, and what does he want to talk to you about?" So so it's one of those things where I don't know, man. It's hard. It's hard to relate on certain things, and like, should I take a creative writing class? I used to do a lot of writing, so I'm fairly familiar with creative writing. Yeah. Have I taken a vacation this year? Yeah, I mean, I've taken a couple 3-day ones, but I have a lot more vacation time now. I have, I would say I have 3 weeks of vacation, and then I have a rotating holiday and 3 sick days. So in total, I have about, what's that coming out to? About 19 days of vacation. So I'll be taking a nice long one eventually. But yeah, it could be that I'm burnt out. Can a noob become a coder? Yes. And somebody earlier, I meant to ask this. So, should I mention that I went to a boot camp? I feel like my colleagues who have CS comp sci degrees are looking down on me. So this could be two things. One, this could be that they are actually looking down on you and they're pieces of shit, and you should leave that horrible job. And two, it could just be that you're a little bit of insecure, and that's fine, right? So I didn't go to a boot camp, and I don't have a comp sci degree, and I'm self-taught, and it took me a very long time to feel comfortable about being a developer. And so I completely understand where you're coming from. And a lot of it isn't that people are looking down upon you. A lot of it is that it might, at least in my case, that I was just self-conscious about it, because we are sort of ingrained into what's going, like it has been ingrained into our minds from society in various aspects that that you are not worthy unless you went to college. Do I read any education books? If so, what? No, I don't really read books anymore. Sounds like you're having a hard time compiling bullshit. Yeah. It's like even the stuff I watch, I don't watch too much TV or too many movies. But like I do watch the news, and I pretty much only follow up with MMA. Question about boot camp. Can you explain the whole process, how the whole process works from start to finish? Do I have to quit my job now, or can I do my job and learn on the side until it becomes my job in the end? Well, boot camp doesn't guarantee you a job. So, and oftentimes you need to study before you go into the boot camp. And then when you actually do go into the boot camp, typically they will want you to not work while you're in the boot camp. But it depends on what's going on with your goal, right? But or what's going on with the boot camp. There are boot camps designed to allow you to still work. But yeah, so it's been an interesting thing with me right now, because objectively I have been at a very good point in life, and from a personal standpoint, something needs to change. So yeah, but find your passion. Can I flex? Bro, do you even lift? All right. But yeah, so I'm definitely going to start implementing a little bit of exercise. I'm cutting out the caffeine in my life again, which caffeine has a tendency to mess with my sleep patterns. Did you hear about the new WoW and classic WoW launch? No. I'm going to look that up, though. That might be what I need in my life. Yeah, that's what I'm starting to think, is that I do need something slightly different. How's your diet? It's shit. What state are you living in? I thought you were in Florida. I've lived in Los Angeles the majority of my life, but the last year or so I've been in Florida. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at the WoW stuff. See, maybe I'll Do I eat meat? I do. Yes, I am a meat eater. Yeah, I'll have to check out the WoW stuff. Have they made any announcements about Warcraft 4? That's all that really matters. Was there a Warcraft 4 trailer? If there wasn't, sadness. Yeah, so that's what's going on with me. Let me stand a little bit. Does April motivate you to do better than your current career situation, or do you motivate her to better than her current career situation? So I typically motivate her. April has been one of those people who doesn't really. She just wants me to be happy, and she's. I mean, here's the thing, guys. April's unemployed right now, but if you go back 3 years ago when we were in California living off April's salary, she was making like $30,000. And combined before she stopped, and if you take in YouTube and investments, we're probably closer to 120 combined while she was working. So like money wise and career wise, we're in about 3 years, everything's been going amazing, right? So like we are great compared to where we were, and so there's really no worries on the career front. Now, I personally have career goals of my own. She sometimes tells me I need to not work so much and kind of relax, and part of the way I kind of stay fresh and have fun is through YouTube, right? And that's like one thing I really enjoy doing. And then April right now is trying to career change. So, I would say we both motivate each other, with me leaning more to try and lean on her to do better in her career, and her kind of telling me I need to calm down and work a little less. What webcam do I use? The Logitech. God, sorry, I can't read this. 1080. So I can't read this because my pupils are dilated, but I use whatever the 1080p Logitech camera is. I think it's the C920. You think Chris Sean's Oprah shit has been rubbing off on you? God, no. Yeah, I don't watch enough Chris Sean to have that. But yeah, so I think I unsubscribed the other day. It's that one video about his girlfriend dumping him or them breaking up. I was just like, all right, this is so far from coding at this point in time. I think I'm done with this. Wish him the best of luck though. What do you think about going to information technology while in the military and eventually software developer? I think anything that's related to software development and anything that's related to servers and hardware in the military would be a good choice if that's your goal when you get out. Are you surprised by Matt's engineered truth's growth and success? I am not. I am happy for him, for one. Two, I think that he's one of the few people that will kind of keep it real, and that's what I like about it. I don't know how other people react though to that sort of content, right? So one of the things that I like personally about Chris Hawkes is I personally love that he just kind of tells you how he feels as much as he can, given the fact that he's an employee of some other company. So that's personally what I like, and I'd like to think that on YouTube, that's what most people like, right? They want somebody who's just honest and tells you what they think. Who would I consider to be some of my mentors? I have a coworker I kind of look up to be honest. So I don't know that I'd call him a mentor because we work together. But the tech lead, I'm very interested in him as an individual, and so I'm trying to pick his brain as much as I can. What's going on, Ricky? But also I think that I kind of look at a lot of negative mentors more than I look at positive mentors. But I kind of look up to Quincy, look up a little bit to John, just because I like what they're both doing. You're my mentor. You done fucked up now. No. Do you think Gen Z is fucked or no? I think that there's a lot of people in the current generation, you know, the millennial generation, for instance, that got dealt a bad hand, where if you look at statistically about how much you're making as an adult at this age compared to what it was 50 years ago or 30 years ago, it's the same dollar amount, which is absurd. The fact that you go to school and you're taking out $40,000+ in debt, and when you used to be able to go and work at McDonald's over the summer and pay for your tuition, and unfortunately the expectations have stayed the same, and a lot of jobs don't pay very well. So that's what I would say about that comment, is that I feel like there are a lot of situations that the millennial generation have gotten put in that people like to deny is not fact, but the stats support it. And because of that, you have to work harder than people did in the past. And a lot of people don't want that, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Want to do that. It's hard, right? It's hard. And that's something that I was actually talking about recently, is like, here we are doing everything right? Like, we have no credit card, we have no debt, we're saving money, we're working, we're bettering ourselves, we're doing self-education, we're doing everything right. Yet still, it's kind of hard to see these people doing everything wrong, spending money, going into debt, and you know that they're going to be not as well off in the future. But it's hard to say that while you see them having all this fun, while you're postponing your fun in theory. So how do I feel about ASP.NET MVC? That's what we do at my work, although I believe they just moved to .NET Core 2.0. By any chance, do you have any tips on getting an internship? I'm in my junior year in college for my CS degree and have a high GPA. I would say worry less about your high GPA, although put it on there, and have some projects that are going to work with what role it is that you're applying for, and have a unique resume and your LinkedIn and GitHub and all that needs to be done as well. Just start applying. Really just got to cover your bases, and then it's a numbers game, and start applying for things. Does anyone really see very many baby boomers or Gen X individuals attempting to improve themselves? I generally see them plateau. Well, you're talking about people who are in later stages of their life, right? When you're talking about baby boomers, most of these people are 55 plus who they've had their families, they've had their marriages, they've done everything that they wanted to do in terms of setting a strong foundation. And the older you get, the less change that you want in your life, right? The less, you're not going to necessarily, when you're younger, you're willing to jump into another industry. And when you're older, you're going to have, you're already going to kind of be established, and you're going to be jumping in a different direction. So I wouldn't say that they necessarily plateau, but maybe more so a lot of the things that they do will have issues down, not issues. It's just you're not going to necessarily be educating yourself at 60 most of the time, is what I'm saying. But at the same time, I get real fucking sick of people telling me about how millennials are broke because they spend their time buying avocado toast, when it's just complete bullshit, just absolute bullshit. Yeah. It's not that housing is at an all-time high. It's not that college is super expensive and people are getting. So millennials, here is a fact. And if you think I'm lying, you're always welcome to do your own research. But millennials, by and large, are not only better educated than their previous baby boomer generation, but they have more debt per dollar and they make less money. So somehow you became better educated, but have more debt and make less money, which makes absolutely no sense. But it's all about the Starbucks and it's all about the avocado toast. That's it. It's got nothing to do with the fact that they got screwed. Yeah, no. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with that. It's the avocado toast. I am 30 years old and I've never once had avocado toast. I don't know where this bullshit came from, but I am sick of hearing about the avocado toast, right? Or the Starbucks. I don't like Starbucks. So, like, I saw something the other day on LinkedIn where it said, the guy literally said, you know what, millennials, he did like one of these. So, like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a lot of hate for like millennials everywhere. And if you go on to LinkedIn, it's equally as hateful, because most people on LinkedIn are, not most, but there's a good portion of people who have established their lives, and they they're not in the grind anymore, so they like to still kick on people who are. And so this idiot from Bank of America, some executive at Bank of America, say, you know what, dear millennials, 10 things to tell you about your first job. If you hate it, just wait it out for 2 years. Awful advice. If you're not getting paid all that much, don't worry. No. Here's some advice for you. If you hate it, work it and leave it for a job that pays more, because you are more likely to get more money when you already have a job. As a matter of fact, if you stay at a job, especially as a software developer, you are not rewarded for loyalty in most jobs. You are instead rewarded for disloyalty, meaning if I stay here, even though you should respect the developers where you're at and we're working hard, but if you stay here, we're going to give you a 5% raise, which let's say is $4,000 based off your salary. So you get we'll say $5,000. So you're making $100K. Good for you. $5,000 raise off your salary. But you're more than likely going to get a much larger raise going to another company, even if it's just 10. Bam, jump jobs, and you'll be in a much better situation until you hit that top cap, until you hit that top market, right? It's just awful advice, man. Just if you're miserable at your job, just hold it out. No, you should never be miserable at a job. It's absolutely insane. And it's just bad advice, right? And the same guy in his top 10, so you might have more money if you didn't buy a $5 coffee every day. It's like, come on, man. But yeah. So back to Casey's point, you can't feel sorry for yourself, right? There is no sort of sorry. Feeling sorry for yourself does nothing, right? There are reasons and there are excuses. I'm giving you reasons as to why it's harder for millennials, but it is not an excuse as to why you can't go and get it, right? Yes, it is. It is harder to make more money. Yes, it is harder to buy a house. Yes, things are more expensive, but we are not going to complain our way into a better situation. We're not going to cry our way into a better situation. We just have to work harder. And even though people are going to say that, hey, you know what? These guys are lazy. They have it worse off. We had it easier, but forget those people. You have to work harder. And that's just the reality of the world. You have to work harder. Does it suck? Yes. So I don't know what to say about that, but you can't feel sorry for yourself, but that doesn't mean that there aren't reasons as to why a lot of millennials do. So Angel says you can't argue that millennials are focused on luxuries too early and lose focus. I would argue that that's probably always been the case. It's not as if the baby boomer generation didn't have losers and didn't have people who were failures in life. Every generation has their crackheads. Every generation has their losers. I don't think it's probably any more or any worse or any better. The only thing is you have an entire generation that is now on a public scale shitting on another generation, and also it's much more accessible, right? All this information is much more accessible because the internet and everything that goes along with it. Sorry, I can't read very fast today, guys, because my eyes are blurry still. So, yeah, I think VLS makes a very good point here. I think the hardest part is trying to unlearn everything we've been programmed to believe all our lives. I've said this about college and myself. Even now, I still think about going back, even though I don't need to. The guilt our parents' generation put on us when we do things we love is sickening. Yep. So it's again, I just want to reiterate this because this may come off as complaining, but we're talking about reasons here, and it sucks, right? Like I am someone who I'm not struggling, but I've had to work very hard. It's okay. Still working hard. And there's a lot of you who are trying to get out of poverty, trying to get out of debt, trying to get out of all that sort of bullshit that goes along with it. And when you have a generation that didn't have any of that, it just kind of is laughable that you would compare that. It's like, you know what, Bertha? You bought a house for $10,000 in 1975, and your college tuition was $300 a quarter. Let's not talk about who got the short end of the stick. All right, you bought a house, working part-time at McDonald's and going to school at the same time. It's absolutely insane, right? Could you imagine if you just work a fast food job part-time and pay for school? No, because it's not even remotely realistic. A matter of fact, McDonald's knows that if you work full-time so much, they actually, this is a really laughable thing, but McDonald's created a thing on how to manage your money. They assumed that you were already working a second full-time job. McDonald's did, and said, yo, you know what? You're gonna have no money for heating, no money for savings, and we're assuming that you're working a second full-time job somewhere else. Meanwhile, Bertha in 1965 could pay for her college tuition working at that same job. But the millennials are lazy, right? They're the ones who have it so easy. Because we have you know, our representatives are people like Catch Me Outside. Our representatives are, you know, the Instagram models, the coding babes of the world, right? Are the ignorant artists of the world. Those are our representatives, right? The what's that idiot blonde dude on YouTube, right? We don't have any of the good reps, right? We don't. There's no good millennials killing it, right? So whose fault is it? Oh, it's a lot of people's fault. Jacob Paul, yeah, that idiot. That's the guy who. That's and by the way, if we were all like this moron and all the other morons, and mind you, this guy's making money and doing it big. But that is the type of individual that these older generations are having. So, like, I'm not. I mean, look at my channel, right? I'm at 28,000 subs. We have this guy who's at like 5 million. Of course, he's going to be more well known, right? Very few people are going the self-educated route. Very few people are talking about this. So what can we do to make a difference about this? Well, you can do what I do, and you can simply do what you can for yourself and those around you. I've done my best to communicate my message to the world through YouTube in the best way that I can. But at this point in time, you really just got to look out for yourself and those around you, right? Try to make the difference that you can when you can. Am I traveling for the holidays? No. I was debating going back, but with me saving money to buy a house, it was going to cost about $1,000 for April and I to go back, so I decided not to. Just wasn't a good financial decision. Although maybe I'll go snowboarding or something. I don't know. I kind of take it. Try and take it from there. AK-47. Yeah. I mean, look, guys, there's a lot of people that are my age or younger. I'm 30 to put reference. 5 years older, 5 years younger, 10 years younger. There are a lot of people that don't do anything, but that they have always been there. But we live in a day and age of no matter what it is you want to do, you can pretty much self-educate about it. If you're not trying to be a brain surgeon, you can go and you can learn carpentry online. You can go get an apprenticeship after you pick up some basic skills. You can learn to be a software developer on your own. A lot of people don't, right? A lot of people just rather complain and never do anything about it. But that's never changed. It's always been that way. It's just a simple scapegoat. And that's what goes back to it. Every generation has their losers. Every generation has their crackheads. So it is what it is. What's better to learn, C# or Java? Java is more used, but C# is very, very nice for web development because of .NET. So yeah, it's just I don't know, man, and it's hard, right? So I want everyone to succeed, right? I want to live in a fantasy world where I can help whoever I can help, right? That's part of the reason I do these. That's part of the reason that I do these live streams, right? Where I try and answer these questions. We talk about these things, right? Like right now, we have 48 people in here, and that's 48 people who we're having a conversation with right now, who is trying to become better in whatever it is that they're doing in their life and trying to educate themselves. I mean, at the end of the day, this is an infotainment channel where we're giving some info and we're trying to entertain at the same time. And so it is, here we are. I'm going to sit down. Here we are, hopefully helping someone do slightly better by the end of this live stream, where maybe they've gone and said, hey, next time let me make a mental note of that idiot so I can make sure I never become like him or her. Yeah, thanks. I have seen Siraj's YouTube channel, although I haven't watched any of his videos lately. But I do watch Stephen Mischuk's channel on occasion. Do I think traditional education system K-12 will ever be discontinued? I do not. It's too ingrained in our society. I do think that community college and college will be free, though, within the next 10 years. Free or highly discounted. Because in its current form, it's just not going to work out. That's the truth of the matter. I think what's going to happen is you're just going to see a lot more boot camp type things popping up. Will you please review Angular.js from the NetNinja channel on YouTube? I've watched some of the NetNinja tutorials. If he has an Angular.js section, I'm sure it's very good. His tutorials are so well done. So what are you doing, Tito? Yeah. Also, you know what? So the funniest part about college to me, and this is one thing I think they would that could change, is so you go through K through 12, which essentially is a general education for 13 years. So you're going through general education for 13 years, and then you have to go to a community college, not a community college, but you have to do 2 more years of general education to talk about shit that you just spent 13 years going over, history, art history, when in reality, what you should be doing is going into a program that's going to give you skills and go from there. So maybe in a perfect world, they would eliminate that requirement. What is the best way to study full stack? Books or lectures? Build projects, watch videos. So it's I'm gonna grab some tea real quick, guys. I'm gonna grab some. Yeah, so I mean, I have a very strong opinion about college and post high school education. Yeah, it's very strange, right? Because not only can you go 40 grand into debt, you can also then not have a job after that 40 grand. Because realistically, the only degree that's really teaching you stuff is maybe an engineering degree and some business degrees. But about, let's just say 70%, I think would be a very fair number of degrees are useless. So about 70% of degrees are useless. And no, it's tea. It's just unsweetened black tea. And what you end up getting is people who take out debt and then get jobs that now they've strapped themselves with debt for about 10 years of their life, right? And so much so that there are programs built in that say, I think it's 15 years. If you pay the minimum amount and in 15 years you haven't paid it all back, they'll wash it out. I think they may be putting that program to an end. But it's very sad, man. So the average, as of 2016, the average college student was graduating with $37,000 of debt. What's going on, buddy? So that's where I'm getting that number. So it's probably gone up slightly. Can I please distinguish between React.js and AngularJS? Yes. So React.js is a front-end view library only, and AngularJS is an entire framework. And what that basically means is that Angular is going to have a lot of stuff built in that React is not. If you're looking to go in one direction or the other, I would recommend picking up Angular. They're currently in version 5, not AngularJS, which is version 1, and going from there. It is the reason for that is just because I think that you could pick up React or the current version of Angular is the better way of going about it. And I say, by the way, I say all this with plans to one day be a teacher. Because I've had those poor teachers, I would love to actually go and teach computer science and teach, maybe an introduction to JavaScript course and go from there. But I'm not qualified. I don't have a degree. I have had more years in this field than half of my professors who went straight to being instructors, but I'm not qualified. Yep. Somehow you can have relevant experience in the field, but not be qualified. Pluralsight is always looking for some peeps to teach. I don't know. What does Pluralsight pay? It would be nice just to get Pluralsight on the resume. You didn't get a notification this was on? Well, if you click the bell icon and subscribe, you'll make sure to get notified when all my videos go live, and go from there. My old roommate teaches Python for inmates at jail. In jail. Have I considered putting more memes in my videos? Sort of. If you've watched some of my most recent videos, I always have a joke at the end with April. So come up with an advanced React or Angular course. I've been just thinking about coming up with a JavaScript course, breaking down the entire library. There's so much, even as a JavaScript developer, I don't know about the language that I have to go and build out. Any tips on portfolio projects for full stack? Coding phase preaches restaurant and e-commerce real estate sites. I don't know if those types of projects on a portfolio are worth the time and effort. Coding phase preaches a lot of anything that's going to sell some of his courses. My suggestion is build something custom and then go from there. Custom is always better than generic. Um, so your recent video on how people don't code, on my top 5 reasons not to learn code. How do you get started when you just can't figure out where to start? Start watching YouTube videos, buy a course, start building something. That's really it, man. You just got to start diving in. I know a lot of us get overwhelmed by all the resources in the world. It's a good problem to have, though. So if you really want somewhere to start in web dev, just go on Free Code Camp. Knock that out as quick as you can. Go from there. Create my own boot camp and teach whatever you want. That'd be fun. How's your course and air memes project going? So the course, I think I'm just going to give it away for free. Just a little project course. I was going to charge $5 for it, but I don't know. I go back and forth about charging you guys for courses, and so I end up just giving it away for free. Originally, those 5 projects I did in React, it was going to be a course. I ended up giving it away for free. So I think something similar is going to happen when I move on, when I release it. We'll see. It's in terms of the air memes project, I got kind of burnt out playing around with the Chrome extension stuff. So I might just build that one project and then release it on the channel and not have to worry about it. Let's see here. It's funny thinking about it. They want you to be taught by a certified teacher, but who taught the first teacher in a given field? It's highly likely that they were taught. Yeah. Any goals you have left now that you want to make a comfortable living as it pertains to industry? Yes, I want to get senior in my title. I also want to get my income to the 6-figure mark, and I want to become a team lead after that. So that's where I plan on going. Engineers Truth's latest video is his most disliked video. I would beg to differ. I would imagine his how to be a sugar baby video might be his most disliked video, but it's definitely probably up there. What do you think about the Twitter worker who deactivated Trump's account on his last day at work? I mean, it's just one dude that's pissed off at Trump. One of many. But it's his last day at work. That's the time to do it. If you're already peacing out, call it a day. Has April shown interest in web development? How good of a student was she as a web dev, with me as a web dev teacher? April has shown interest in web development in the past, and she is currently taking some project management certifications. With her unemployment, she's actually got a grant that's going to pay for some of these certification programs in project management. So that's where her focus is right now. 53 viewers. Is that a record, or have I had more? I think I've been in the 90s once or twice, or the high 80s. But this is pretty solid for a Saturday, that's for sure. Am I still working on your book? No, not really, man. It's been hard. It's something that I want to do. So it eventually will get done, but it hasn't been I've been focused more on this project and course the last few weeks. Make 2 projects, charge us for 1. Make 3 projects, charge you for 3. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. I'll do something. Is my house burning? Yes. Call the police. What do you think of a video about getting live market data from different exchange APIs and how to do things with that data? That's very good. You should be very familiar with the main HTTP verbs and be able to execute them in various frameworks at the very least. Your channel is very underrated. Like it a lot. That's very kind of you. Any more tutorial videos planned? Well, the course project I was building, it's Angular 4, Angular 5 now, I guess. It's a personal portfolio project, so that'll be the one that comes out. Either charge us for all or don't. Yeah. I mean, eventually, it's just natural that I will build courses. thoughts on coding boot camps? Do your research, and most of them are very well. Do I use a 4K webcam? No. Yeah, it's yeah, I eventually will sell a course. It's just natural. I don't know. Yeah. What do you think about going to school online? I think it's an excellent decision. You waste so much time going to class, and it cuts out as much fluff as possible. Although you have to be very dedicated and have a strong will and a strong that's what I'm looking for. Not dedication, but you have to be able to be very determined and be able to stick to deadlines. Have I tried the digital marketing course? No, but it's been getting people a ton of jobs. A lot of people like it. How's work going so far? Pretty good. Excellent. I love yeah, you have to have a lot of self-discipline. Thank you. All right, guys. Let's wrap up today's Saturday weekly live stream. We talked. For those of you who are new, I like to. I like to end my live streams with some words of wisdom. And what I want to say, we started this video about mentoring. We then kind of dived into me saying that something is lacking in my life and trying to figure out what it is. And then, we talked a little bit about millennials and what the sort of common theme is a very objective understanding of what's going on and being informed of your inner self, right? Being informed of the negative people who you need to not be like, and the positive people who you want to emulate. Being informed of, hey, I am happy, but something is missing. And then being informed of the unfortunate disparity of how life has been slightly unfair to millennials in a very objective and statistic standpoint, right? And that we're going to also be informing yourself that just because that's the case doesn't mean that we can complain ourselves into a better situation. So what I want to say to you today is I hope that whatever is going on in your life, that you inform yourself of every aspect of what it is you're trying to accomplish. And instead of making excuses, understand the reasons, and then maybe perhaps you can overcome those issues along the way. Excuses are one of the worst things that once you start making excuses for yourself in life, it's very hard to stop making excuses for yourself in life once you start believing them. So I hope you instead understand reasons and inform yourself of those reasons and don't make excuses. So I appreciate you guys all. Don't forget to join the Patreon, join the Facebook page, join the subscribe, hit that little notification bell, like, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.